This week we'll learn how to issue a Google Trust Services certificate for our domain. You might find yourself wondering, why would I want a Google Trust Services certificate when Let's Encrypt exists? The major reason is compatibility. A lot of older software does not recognize Let's Encrypt as a root certificate authority, especially since Let's Encrypt's root certificate has changed during its lifespan. Google's recognition as a root authority is definitely more widespread. One example that I recently came across is that old versions of Java 8 don't recognize Let's Encrypt, and as such throw an exception instead of connecting. Now before we get started, it's worth noting that this tutorial will only work on VPS servers, and you will need a Google account to log into Google Cloud. You will not need a payment method though. If you haven't already, you'll need to install a web server such as Apache or Nginx and Certbot for issuing SSL certificates. I covered how to install Nginx in a previous tutorial, so we'll speed through the process here. Our first step will be to install the gcloud CLI. I'm performing this tutorial on Ubuntu 24, so if you are using a different flavor of Linux, please check Google's documentation for alternate install instructions. After we have installed gcloud, we can run gcloud init. This process will prompt us to authenticate with our Gmail account and select a cloud project. If you don't have a cloud project yet or want to use a separate one, select the option to create a new one and give it a project ID. If you get an error message, such as the one that I got, go to cloud.google.com and click on the console page. This will automatically create a sample project for you. We'll set our project ID as the selected project and ensure that our Gmail user has role access to create certificates. Next, we'll ensure that the public CA API is enabled using the command gcloud services enable publicca.googleapis.com. At this point, we'll need an Acme client such as Certbot. If you've issued any Let's Encrypt certificates before, you likely already have this installed. We'll need to register an Acme account to receive an EAB key ID and HMAC. Run the command gcloud publicca external account keys create, which will give you a B64 MAC key and a key ID value. Using Certbot, we can now register our Acme account with the provided values. Finally, we can now issue certificates for our VPS. Using Certbot, run the following command that you now see on screen, and all this simply does is select which web server you're using, the staging URL that you would like to issue the certificates for, since the gcloud documentation provides for both production and staging, and which domains you'd like to create certificates for. This will automatically create a new certificate for your domain and edit your Nginx config for you. You may need to restart Apache or Nginx for the changes to take effect.